10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Now I wish to invite our introducing the keynote speaker, Dr. Geng. He is passionate at writing a story poem, and she holds a PhD in language from University Putra, Malaysia. Currently, she is a senior lecturer in Guilin University Technology, China. Her research interests in economics and linguistic academic writing, creative writing, discover analysis, the fantasy language education and translation. She served as a copy editor for International Journal of Education and Literacy Studies, an assistant editor for Asian Journal of Applying, as a member of Poetry Institute of China, Writers Association and Translate Associate of Shin. She has translated 2 books, edited 2 books, and published multiple articles. SSCI and AACI Index Journal. We are truly privileged to have her with us today. So before we proceed, kindly, please, we are welcome. Ma'am, now is your flow. You can continue. Thank you so much.
Okay, very good evening here. It's in China, it's evening time. I wonder what's the time now in Bangladesh, maybe?
In Bangladesh now is 7:21.
Oh, 7:21.
Yes, in Malaysia 9:21.
Yes, 2 hours in advance.
Yeah.
So let me try to share my screen. I wonder, let's see. Yes, can you see my screen now? Make it bigger.
Not yet, ma'am.
Can you see my screen? The slides?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, now you can see.
Okay, great. That would be wonderful. So my session is entitled Humanizing the Linguistic Classroom with the Heartbeat of Creativity, Creative Writing in Applied Linguistics. So before I begin, I would like you to look at this picture because this is a picture, a painting that shows the city that I work, all right? So can you try to please look at this painting and let's see what kind of things are here. And if this painting had a voice, what would it say? Yeah, if anyone would like to interact with me, you can just unmute yourself or you can type your answers into the chat box. Anyone has any thoughts or any ideas regarding this painting? Yeah, I would like you to, yeah, I heard maybe someone is trying to answer. Do we have any thoughts? Yeah, if this painting had a voice, what would it say? The reason why I would like to invite you to look at this painting is that this is a picture that shows the city where I work. It's the city of Guilin in China. So if you don't know the city, you can just search on Google. It's a very famous landmark. It's very famous for its mountains and rivers. And for me, it is more than a landscape. Yeah, it is a city that constantly reminds me that form and feeling belong together. You can see the mountains actually here and rivers here, trees and houses. Yeah. Can anyone please share your ideas? Do we have any thoughts? Our moderator, can you please read our answers, please?
Someone answering natural language uses.
Mm-hmm.
Most famous painting from Anthetic dynasty.
From ancient dynasty.
Yes.
Wow. How did you know that? Did you see maybe the characters here, the calligraphy here? Yeah, if this painting had a voice, what would it say? Or you can tell me the atmosphere actually. The kind of environment it creates. Well, for me, its mountains and rivers are not only geological forms. They also hold memory, imagination, and emotion. So in the same way, language is not only grammar and structure, it is also how students experience the world, how they try to speak, and how they hesitate, how they revise, and finally, how they gradually grow. So this is actually where my inspiration comes from, the belief that the linguistics classroom should not only analyze the form of language, but also make room for human experiences, creativity, and reflection. So this is why I'm trying to show you this picture. Yeah. So when my students see this picture, they told me something like, well, it creates a kind of atmosphere like dreamlike, tranquil, peaceful, calm, serene, echoing, romantic, yeah, natural, majestic, misty, ancient. Yeah, we have a very good participant who mentioned ancient. Yeah, spiritual, flowing, elegant, poetry in nature, ink painting. Yeah, so on and so forth. All right. So let's move to our session. So why creative writing matters in linguistics? You know that creative writing includes expressive forms like poetry, short fiction, and literary dialogue. And actually, what we can communicate from the painting can reflect a kind of dialogue between human and nature. In linguistics, it goes beyond grammar rules to include emotional expression, cultural identity, and creativity. I wonder how many of you here likes creative writing? Yeah, in addition to learning language. Creative writing enriches how language is used, making it more dynamic and personal, and aligns both linguistic and artistic practices. So the key that we can try to unlock a student's full potential is through creative writing. We can try to integrate creative writing into conventional linguistics classrooms. All right, so that we can transform these rigid tasks into playful exploration, and we can try to foster the humanistic values of education. So as you can see in this figure, what can you see from this figure? traditional linguistics versus creative writing. From the left side, we can see the skeleton. Yeah, the skeleton of this animal is just like the skeleton of language. It provides structure like grammar, syntax, and rules. And from the right side, yeah, the right part, it's just like creative writing, we add flesh. So after adding the flesh, we can see human expression, emotion, and identity because it becomes a vivid fox, all right? So this creates a whole being of language. And through creative writing, it helps bridge the gap, fostering critical thinking, cultural awareness, and emotional expression while aligning linguistics with humanistic education. And let's see from this figure. We can see a house, yeah, and there are frames here on the top of the house. So we can consider linguistics as a framework of a house, which is strong, structured, and foundational. However, with only the framework of a house, do you think that people would like to come in this space? Maybe the answer is not, because we need decorations to make it cozy, comfortable, and full of warmth. So creative writing is the decorations. It adds color, personality, and warmth to the space, making it more inviting and meaningful. And all together, with both framework and decorations, they create a complete home. Yeah. Our goal is to see how creative writing enhances linguistic proficiency, fosters motivation, creativity, and humanistic values in students, making the study of language both scientific and human-centered. So from your perspective, what do you think of linguistics? Do you think that it's a kind of discipline, a scientific discipline, or hard science discipline, or soft science discipline? Hard applied or soft applied? Scientific or human-centered, based on linguistics? Yeah, maybe for some of my students, their answer would be, it's a kind of hard applied or scientific subject because the subject needs our students to analyze the rules, the syntax, maybe the semantics, analyze everything. However, it could be somewhat human-centered, and actually, it's a human-centered discipline, all right? So let me show you why. So let's see how creative writing makes linguistics more engaging. The first thing is that it sparks intrinsic motivation by creating a positive emotional environment. In addition to passing the examinations of the maybe of the course, and we need to motivate students to let them practice, to let them maybe integrate their real experience into this subject. We can create activities like story writing, group discussions, and creative tasks that can try to improve students' engagement and language acquisition. And based on Krashen's affective filter hypothesis, language input is more readily absorbed in a relaxed creative atmosphere. So let's see this picture. This is affective filter hypothesis, which is a very classic hypothesis put forward by one of the famous scholars, Krashen, who is also a linguist in 1982. So we can consider the vocabularies, the rules, the grammar, the syntax, pragmatics, everything as the input. And we have a filter in our brain or in our mind. It's just like the funnel. And then we will make the input flow through the filter and go into our language acquisition device. And finally, the knowledge will become our acquired competence. All right. So let's see this figure. It's quite vivid and interesting. So we can see our brain here. And the affective filter is like the funnel. It can be quite wide and it can be quite narrow. It depends on the environment or the atmosphere of a classroom. So when students are put into less pressured atmosphere or environment, and then the affective filter allows comprehensible input through their language acquisition device. And finally, it will flow smoothly into our brain. So let's see what kind of factors will influence our affective filter or this kind of funnel. Yeah. What kind of classroom environment would be maybe less stressed? I'd like to share my experience with you because the first day I entered our classroom, I saw that almost 40 students were looking at me. They were just observing me because I was a new lecturer standing in front of them. So they were quite stressful actually because they didn't know what kind of style this new lecturer was going to be. And then they started observing like what would be my first introduction, what would be my first activity that I assigned them. All right. So I try to tell them that you don't need to feel quite stressed because we are equal and you can eat here, you can maybe drink, yeah, when you feel thirsty, and when you feel hungry, you can eat. And if you need to check the vocabularies in the dictionary, you can always use your phones to check. And if you would like to answer questions, you can just sit there and answer, no need to stand up. Yeah, and if you meet any maybe questions, you can just interrupt me at any time. So after I tell them the rules, they feel less stressed. All right. And what would be the factors when students are put in a high stressed atmosphere? What do you think? If the lecturer is accustomed to criticize them, to interrupt them, yeah, to maybe let them come to the blackboard to write something, and they cannot write it down correctly, and they may lose face. At that kind of point, the students may be put in a quite high stressed atmosphere. And then the affective filter doesn't allow much comprehensible input through this affective filter, the funnel, and the knowledge actually cannot fluently move into our language acquisition device. Our brain cannot absorb them. So this is quite important if you really want to make your students learn well and use the knowledge flexibly. Try to create a low-stressed atmosphere first. All right, this is especially important learning a second language. Okay, so based on this theory, I try to explore or develop some activities to teach them the definitions of language. So here, I'd like to show you an example of how we can teach definitions of language. I'm sure if you are here, many of you or most of you have learned more than one language, all right? So you can recall your memory of what you have done when you firstly started learning your mother tongue or learning English? Yeah. Did your lecturer tell you that what is language? We can see here we have various definitions, like Sapir mentions what, Hall mentions what, and Chomsky mentions what. So if we can just memorize by memorizing the definitions, like language is a purely human, non-instinctive method of what. Language is an institution whereby humans communicate and interact with each other by what. And from now on, that's the last one, I will consider language to be a set of sentences, finite or infinite sentences, and each finite in length and constructed out of a finite set of elements. Then we could feel they are somewhat tedious and boring, and we cannot memorize them in detail, actually. So how to let our students appreciate these concepts or appreciate the ideas of the definitions? So we can actually develop some activities. So let's see the Chomsky's idea. A language is a set of sentences. The sentences can be finite or infinite, so each finite in length. However, they can be constructed out of a finite set of elements. So try to make the students understand this. We can show them a picture like the Lego. So this is actually a metaphor. We make the language as Lego. Yeah, language is like Lego. You have a limited number of bricks. Like bricks refer to words and grammar rules here in the linguistic context, but you can build unlimited different structures. Yeah, like sentences. All right, so this shows the feature of the language, which is quite generative. All right, you can always generate the sentences based on the vocabularies in your mind. So this is why Chomsky called that a language is a set of sentences. They are finite in length, each finite in length, because they are finite in using a finite number of vocabularies, but we can just make the words, make the collocations differently, all right, and generate our sentences individually. So we can also play a game. Well, the game that I created is called the Never-Ending Sentence Elephant Trunk Hill Edition. So why I picked the Elephant Trunk Hill? Because in Guilin, in our city, the Elephant Trunk Hill is an icon, is a landmark. So before I move on to this game, I would like to tell you the legend of the scenic spot, the Elephant Trunk Hill. So if one day in the future you have a chance to visit China, do visit our Elephant Trunk Hill, all right? Okay. So one of the most well-known legends about Elephant Trunk Hill tells the story of a heavenly elephant. You can see this is the Elephant Trunk Hill. Here's the tower, and there's the Li River, the mountains, and the boats. According to the legend, there was once a kind and hardworking elephant in heaven. When a severe famine struck the human world and people were suffering, the elephant could not bear to watch. It secretly came down to earth to help, carrying food, plowing fields, and bringing water to the people. When the heavenly emperor discovered that what had happened, he became furious and sent heavenly soldiers to bring the elephant back. But the elephant refused to abandon the people it had come to help. It fought to protect them and was badly wounded. Eventually, exhausted from its injuries, the elephant reached the banks of the Li River. This is the Li River. As it lowered its trunk to drink from the water, it turned into a stone and remained there forever. Today, people say that this stone elephant became Elephant Trunk Hill. A trunk stretches into the river, creating the iconic shape that gives the hill its name. Beneath the trunk is a round opening known as Water Moon Cave. So this is called the Water Moon Cave. On clear moonlit nights, the moon can be seen reflected both in the cave and on the water, creating a beautiful and almost magical scene. So actually, this has some implied meaning in Chinese culture. So true greatness is not about standing above others, but about being willing to bend down and help them. All right. So this is actually what educations each must the same. So let's see. Regarding education, its value lies not in standing above learners, but in reaching toward them. So we will try to create a game to let students feel the gist of the definition of language. The game is called the never-ending sentences. So we will gradually expand the sentence about Elephant Trunk Hill, making it longer and more detailed while maintaining grammatical accuracy. How to play? We can start with a very simple sentence, like the Elephant Trunk Hill is beautiful. And then each player adds a new word, phrase, or clause to expand the sentence while keeping it grammatically correct. So let's try to do this. If I give you a basic sentence, Elephant Trunk Hill is beautiful, and then how to expand this sentence. What kind of elements can we add? Yeah, I will give you around maybe 2 minutes. You can think about this, and you can also type in our chat box. Try to add a new word, phrase, or clause to expand the sentence while keeping it grammatically correct. So we will use a set of vocabularies to create the infinite sentences. If you have any thoughts, please unmute yourself to share. Elephant Trunk Hill is beautiful. How to expand this sentence? What do you think? Any ideas? All right, so let's just go through. These are my real class application because I actually give my students around 20 minutes to do this during the class time, and they started searching words to expand the sentence or make the sentence extendable. All right, so this is a picture that I show them. How creative writing games foster engagement and language skills. So after 20 minutes, I just collected their submission. So let's see. We have something like, let's see this part. The original text, elephant trunk hill, is beautiful. They will expand like, elephant trunk hill is a beautiful place in Guilin, blah, blah, blah. And after they send their original text, we need one student to correct it, to make it become a corrected version, grammatically correct. Elephant Trunk Hill in Guilin stands as a natural wonder and is a beautiful place, attracting tourists from all over the world who come to admire its unique shape and enjoy the serene atmosphere of this iconic landmark. Well, this is the version that my students create. But as for me, I try to use the basic sentence, elephant trunk hill is beautiful, and based on these words, we can expand as well. So I let them to follow these 8 steps. We can see what are the steps that we can use to expand a sentence. Now, step 1, we got the basic sentence, yeah. And step 2, we can add an adjective or detail, all right? For example, we can make it like, Elephant Trunk Hill is a beautiful and famous landmark, yeah. And next step, we can add location information. Elephant Trunk Hill is a beautiful and famous landmark in Guilin, China. Yeah, and after we add the location information, this will actually attract more visitors. And next step, describing the shape. Elephant Trunk Hill is a beautiful and famous landmark in Guilin, China, known for its shape resembling an elephant drinking water. So if you know the legend, you can easily expand the sentence by describing the shape. So the background knowledge is essential. It's very important. And the next step, what can we do? We can add natural features like Elephant Trunk Hill is a beautiful and famous landmark in Guilin, China, known for its shape resembling an elephant drinking water from the clear flowing Li River. So the clear flowing Li River is actually the natural feature, all right? And what else do we have? Yeah, we can add historical or cultural context. Flowing Li River and has been admired by poets and artists for centuries. So after adding this, you can feel, you can feel the cultural context. And if you know some poems regarding the cultural background, you can also add, yeah, you can quote them actually. And what else do we have? We can add tourism-related information. For example, from here, attracting thousands of tourists who come to witness its breathtaking scenery and explore the nearby caves and temples. And we even have the next step, adding an emotional or sensory description. So it finally comes to our heart of how we feel about this scenery. Explore the nearby caves and temples and enjoy the peaceful sound of the river gently lapping against the rocks as the sun sets behind the misty karst mountains. So let's see the last sentence. Well, this part, it's just in one sentence. However, it has been expanded by a set number of words. And comparing with the first sentence, the elephant trunk hill is beautiful. Which one do you like? Yeah, if you are going to write an essay, which version do you prefer? So this is a way of how creative writing works, all right? So this is why we say language is like Lego. You have a limited number of bricks, words, and grammar rules, right? We have learned the grammar rules, and we have learned the words, but you can build unlimited different structures, what we call the sentences. So this is why Chomsky mentioned, let's go back to the definition, a language is a set of sentences, each finite in length, but they are constructed out of a finite set of elements. Yeah, we can go back to this idea, and now you may easily understand it. So in a similar way, we can make assignments to our students, because we have unlimited scenery spots, not only in China, but in different parts of the world. So you can try to do this activity to show your students. We can select a tourist destination in every part of the world and gradually expand a sentence about it, making it longer and more detailed while maintaining grammatical accuracy through the following 8 steps, or even we can have more steps. You can try to explore more steps. Yeah, we have basic sentence, adding an adjective or detail, location information, describing the shape, natural features, historical cultural context, tourism-related information, emotional or sensory description. All right, so this is the magic of creative writing. Okay, so let's move to the last part. Yeah, we may keep the other slides for the next session maybe. So it's time for us to unleash the power of creative writing in linguistics, because creative writing enhances linguistic proficiency while fostering motivation, creativity, and humanistic values. So you can see during the writing process, or during the creative thinking process, the students need to check the vocabularies. They need to get their active words to write it down. So this kind of activity will make their mind become more active. And this approach brings together structure and expression, allowing students to see language as both a science and as an art. So the integration of creative writing into linguistics classrooms makes language studies inclusive, engaging, and human-centered. And actually, as in the linguistic field, we have different branches, like we have syntax, semantics, pragmatics, phonetics, phonology. Yeah, so we can try to develop all of the similar or more creative activities in each session. So this is what my project is actually about. So I'm trying to design all of the interesting activities by merging the humanistic education into the conventional linguistics classroom. Okay, so that's all for my sharing today. Yeah, if you have more ideas, it's my great pleasure to get your feedbacks. You can just try to contact me through this email. All right. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to share. Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Dr. for such an insightful presentation.
Thanks.
So on behalf of Futuristic Scholars Reseources, I would like to express our sincerity, appreciation to you. Now let's go for Q&A session. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in chat box, or you can raise your hand so we can take your question. Thank you.
Hello. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
please,
for
brother,
your
you can ask your question.
for your good presentation. I just had a question. Sorry, my place is a little bit noisy. The question is, how can teachers use real life problems to help the students understand difficult lessons? Can you please tell me your idea about this? Thank you.
Yeah, how the teachers can make students understand what?
Yeah, understand real life problems to help students while they are facing a difficult lesson or complicated lesson. How real time
Ah,
can help them.
complicated lesson. I see. I think the first step is to make them maybe less stressed, as I have mentioned, because sometimes their real problems depends not only on not just on their knowledge, but it's a kind of pressure. They don't want to lose face in front of their classmates. So if we want to really help students try to understand the complicated questions, the first step is to make them feel free to ask their classmates, ask their teachers, and ask their peers. And you can try to motivate them to search the answers on the spot. Because searching on the spot is actually a very necessary step for them. And you can show them the prompts, like, because now we are living in an era of AI. So we can try to let the students to use some AI tools, to get some reflections about their questions. And we can try to cultivate their critical thinking abilities. After they search answers from AI and interact with AI, then as our lecturers, we can try to let them tell their thoughts, like ask them, like, what do you feel? What do you think? Do you think the AI answers are correct? Or you can discuss with your peers. So they can move forward step by step. They can think by themselves rather than always get help from others. So this will create their abilities to solve complicated questions later. These are my thoughts.
Dr. Inbox, I have one question. Someone asking for your suggestion.
Oh, screen. In the
Yes.
chat box. All right.
Yes.
A good writing book which provides guidelines similar to yours that students can practice sentence transformation and sentence writing practice. For me, as I like poem writing and essay writing, so I try to read some books about how to write poems. You can maybe search this one, the Oliver. You can search this author. She has written a lot of books about creative writing. How, like the template, how can we write different forms of poems and different forms of essays. Okay, any more questions?
Any more questions? Can ask.
Then even we have a writing group. You can later maybe join our writing group. I have a writing group because my current project is about story writing, to try to invite our scholars, our students, our teachers to write stories about language learning and education and language assessment. So if you are interested in that, you can maybe join that group, writing group.
Doctor, we got one question.
I can see how that creative writing transform the language classroom from a space of linguistic instruction into human-centered environment of creativity expression and meaningful communication. I think for this question, for example, I would like to show you how I was teaching semantics, because semantics is a quite abstract field or branch, because it's a study of the meaning of words. So if we want the students to understand the surface meaning and the connotative meaning of the words, we need to show them some vivid examples. For example, the apple, the literal meaning of apple is a round, juicy fruit. But for the connotative meaning, if I say, you're an apple in my eyes, then apple becomes another meaning. Or the cake, well, from basic understanding, what we call the conceptual meaning, is just a kind of snack, all right? But the connotative meaning, if I say, well, this task is just a piece of cake for me, and then the students may understand in the context. So how can we transform traditional linguistic instruction into human-centered environment? The first step is that we need to make vivid examples based on our experiences and try to make them learn flexibly during the session. All right, we should motivate them to also let them think their own experiences of how they can make connections between the concepts and their real experiences in life. All right, so this is my thought. Yeah, this is quite an interesting question. Yes, of course, we can invest jigsaw reading method in teaching creative writing. Yeah, jigsaw is very interesting because it's like the word puzzle. I did that in my reading classes, but sometimes if the students encounter some very long, we can say the longer words, they may feel it is hard to do that. So we can start from the simple ones, maybe the most frequent words or the popular words that they used in a specific context. Yeah, jigsaw is very useful. Yes,
Hello.
Mary Oliver. Yes, correct. Mary Oliver. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Mm-hmm.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Can I speak English, brother?
Yes, ma'am. I'm speaking in English. Am I audible to you?
Yes,
Are
I
you
can
hearing me? Are you listening me,
Yeah,
ma'am?
yes, you are audible. You can ask the
Okay,
question.
ma'am. I have a question. The question goes like this. How is creative writing currently being integrated into language classrooms? May I know the answer for it, please, for God's sake?
Okay, creative writing into language classroom. Let me share the same slides. I want to make it into a detailed part because this is also quite interesting. Let's see. I need to show you this example. Yeah, because I want to show you a haiku activity. Yeah, this one is regarding semantics. And I wonder if I can share the slides again. Let's see. Let me try to share it. Yeah, here. Okay, so let me show you a very interesting example. When I come to teach what is meaning here, because this is about semantics, I need to teach connotative meaning, as I have mentioned. So how to merge creative writing into connotative meaning. So we can show students certain words that contain a kind of connotative meaning. For example, we can let them think about the novels. In the novels, how the writers describe woman and how the writers describe home. So when they mention woman, they may not just mention the denotative or the basic meaning, or we call the conceptual meaning, the literal meaning, the word-for-word meaning. They may suggest something else. They will imply for real, prone to tears, emotional, sympathetic, lack of ration, timid, capricious, sensitive, diligent, and so on and so forth. And regarding home, all right, if I say, okay, welcome home, everyone. Yeah, welcome to my lesson, welcome home. So you can see the home here actually implies we are friends, we are family. Yeah, we create a warm, cozy, comfortable, safe atmosphere. Yeah, and we feel love. Yeah, and we feel free, and it shows a kind of convenience. All right. So how to merge creative writing? We can let the students read a poem, for example, this poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, and let them pick up how many words got the connotative meaning. Yeah, the first step, we can let them to appreciate the creative genre. Creative genre includes poetry, drama, novel, essays, and so on and so forth. So we can analyze like why the author uses yellow, why the author uses black. So what does yellow imply here, and what does black imply here? What are their connotative meaning? And after that, we will show them the students the answers, like what it represents. Yeah, here's the black one. All right. Okay, and after that, we can create activities like to let them write something through using the ideas that we have learned, like the connotative meaning. All right, and we can show them the template of how to write, like first line 5 syllables, second line 7 syllables, third line 5 syllables. And after that, we will tell them the steps as well. For example, we can get a list of nature-related words or the words linked to personal emotions or experiences with strong connotative meanings. All right, like storm suggests turmoil, chaos, or energy. Breeze evokes feelings of calmness, freedom, or peace. This it depends on the student's own experiences. And then think the connotative meanings of words and consider how these words will create a mood or imagery. And then we will give them time to write in the classroom. All right, they will check the dictionaries and finally show us their works. So this is one way that you can try to integrate creative writing into conventional linguistics. But the point is that you need to connect with the lesson that you designed, like semantics, like connotative meanings here. You should be quite familiar with what you are going to talk about. Okay. What is the difference between creative writing and scientific writing? Scientific writing here that we mentioned, we have different genres like scientific writing, we may say report writing, thesis. This belongs to the category of academic writing and research articles, reports, something like this. Creative writing is like travel logs, essays, poems, poetry, and stories, fictions. All right, something like this.
Okay, ma'am, thank you so much. Now I would like to closing remark in our session. Thanks to all participants. We sincerely hope that today's session will have beneficial and insightful for everyone. So for certificate, we will provide on mail and stay connected with our all social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So that's all. Thank you so much again.
Do you recommend that students should have creative writing before novels? Yes, actually, they can start from the shorter ones, like, the sentence expansion activities. All right.
So now we are officially conclude our today's webinar. Thank you so much, everyone. You may leave. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It was a very insightful session. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. We can have workshops later because I have various sessions. Okay, thanks for all of you.
CC.